Yes, children. We'll continue with alkaline earth metals, that is second group elements. To begin with, let us talk about reducing character. Now, reducing character means what? Capacity to get oxidized, is it not? Na losing an electron to become Na plus. Same way Mg is losing 2 electrons to become Mg2 plus. So this is what is called as oxidation, and the substance which is undergoing oxidation is called as reducing agent. So all these metals, they are all reducing agents. They have reducing character. But then the second group elements, they are weaker reducing agents than alkali metals, because sodium has a bigger size, magnesium has a smaller size. So the tendency to lose electron with respect to magnesium is lesser than that of sodium, because bigger the size, easy to lose. Okay, so alkali metals are better reducing agents. They are stronger reducing agents than alkaline earth metals. Now, this reducing character, it increases down the group. With increase in size, what will happen? The capacity to lose electron will also increase, because ionization energy that is to be supplied will decrease. You know that very well. Periodic property here. Ionization energy decreases down the group due to increase in the size of the metal atom. Now, when you consider reactivity with water, this again, it increases down the group. Now, as such, beryllium does not react with water or steam, or even when you heat it to red hot condition, even then it doesn't react with water. But magnesium reacts with boiling water or steam. Now you may say that magnesium, when it is reacting with hot water, it gives you magnesium oxide plus hydrogen. And if you consider the temperature even more, then you can say it forms magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen. Now, due to the protective oxide layer over its surface, the reactivity is less. Now, in this way, it is resembling aluminium. Aluminium also has an oxide layer over it, okay, which will prevent further reaction. Same way, magnesium also has an oxide layer over it. So, the reactivity is magnesium. You know very well that magnesium, unless you burn it, it does not burn itself, right? Whereas sodium, it catches fire even at room temperature. You can't keep it open. That is why it is preserved under kerosene. But magnesium, it is not like that. Then, this calcium, strontium, barium, they all have more negative E0 value, and so they react vigorously with water to form metal hydroxide. They react with water vigorously. The reaction is fast. Now come to reactivity towards oxygen or air. Now these elements, they burn in air forming oxide and also nitride, because when you consider air contains 78% nitrogen. So you will find magnesium nitride also formed, oxide also formed whenever you burn magnesium in the presence of air. And this calcium, barium, strontium, they are stored in paraffin. Paraffin is a hydrocarbon. It is stored under that. Just like sodium is preserved under kerosene, same way these elements are stored under paraffin. But beryllium and magnesium, they are stable because of the protective oxide layer. They need not to be preserved under any such condition. They can be kept in open air. And supposing if they form nitrides will be of the form Ca3N2. That is, say for example, if I take Mg, the valency of magnesium is 2 and that of nitrogen is 3. So when you interchange, you will get Mg3N2. Right? So when they react with water, it liberates ammonia gas. It liberates ammonia gas. Okay. Then, now this type of equations are very important, because if I give you a set of reactions indicating the products as A, B, C, D and all that, like just like how organic we did, the same way here also we can make questions like that. I'll give you such questions once I cover up all these topics. Now reactivity with halogens. They combine with halogens at high temperature, forming the corresponding halide, MX2, MgCl2. Now BeCl2 is conveniently prepared by heating BeO with Cl2 in the presence of carbon. This is a specific method for the preparation of BeCl2. It doesn't react like this. Beryllium does not react like this. Okay, so it is having a separate method where beryllium oxide is treated with chlorine in the presence of carbon at 873 Kelvin when you get BeCl2. Okay, now when you are talking about these halides, very interesting properties are there with respect to halides. Due to small size and high polarizing power, beryllium halides are covalent. This we have been saying again and again. If the charge is more, the size is very less. Okay, that means the ion will have high polarizing power. Polarizing power means what I told you, the capacity to distort the shape of an anion which is by the side of it. That is called as polarizing power. Ability to polarize, ability to distort the electron cloud of an adjacent ion. Now since they are covalent, they are soluble in organic solvents and they are hygroscopic in nature. Hygroscopic means they absorb water and they fume in air due to hydrolysis. They fume in air. They will form fumes. Fumes of what? Fumes of HCl. Now when it is reacting with water, it gives you HCl. Okay, and this is what you call it as, you may call it as fuming in air. Air contains moisture. That moisture will be absorbed, and in the process of absorbing moisture from the atmosphere, it may form HCl. Now look at the product that is formed, BeOH twice plus HCl. So this solution is an acidic solution because of the presence of HCl. And all the other elements, they form ionic halides. Only beryllium forms covalent halide, like magnesium chloride, calcium chloride. They are all typically ionic. Now if you see the structure of BeCl2, see it is having a polymeric chain-like structure where beryllium is seen to be attached with two chlorine atoms, and then again another BeCl2. See, this is one BeCl2, this is another BeCl2. They are all attached in the form of a polymeric chain. Now this is in the solid state. It will be like this. In the vapor phase, how it looks? In the vapor phase, it is a chloro-bridged dimer. Dimer. Mer means repeating unit. Dimer means two units are attached. So here BeCl2, you double it, what you get? You get Be2Cl4. That's what is this? Be2Cl4. So this is a dimer, two units of BeCl2 existing together. Now this dissociates at high temperature to form the monomer, which is the monomer BeCl2, and it is a triatomic molecule. Since it is made up of three atoms, one Be and two chlorine, it is a triatomic molecule. It forms the monomer on heating or at high temperature. Now except this BeCl2, all other halides, they exist as hydrates. Now you have studied about hydrated molecules. You have studied about CuSO4.5H2O, CaSO4.2H2O, CaSO4.5H2O. Like this you have studied. They are all called as water of crystallization. Same way, here also you will find the halides existing as hydrates or hydrated salts. MgCl2.6H2O, CaCl2.6H2O, like that. They are all associated with a fixed number of water molecules as water of crystallization. Now only BeCl2 and MgCl2 get hydrolyzed. The others, they do not get hydrolyzed. Now BeF2 has been found to be highly soluble in water because BeF2, obviously this will be ionic because F is highly electronegative, and its solubility has been attributed to high hydration enthalpy of Be2 plus ion. Again, you know that Smaller the size, greater the charge, greater the extent of hydration. So you expect that this BeF2 is soluble in water. And other fluorides, they are insoluble, like calcium fluoride, barium fluoride, strontium fluoride. They are all insoluble because lattice energy is down the group. What happens to lattice energy and what happens to hydration enthalpy? You know it. Hydration enthalpy decreases with increase in the size of ion. Okay. So when you say that it is insoluble, that means the amount of energy released during hydration is insufficient to break the lattice. That is why the salts are insoluble. Okay. Now let us see reaction with hydrogen. Now these elements, they form hydrides of the formula MH2 by direct heating it with hydrogen. Now how do you get BeH2? BeH2 is obtained by treatment with lithium aluminium hydride, LiAlH4. Hydride, when I say, that means here it is existing in the form of H minus, and it gives you beryllium hydride plus LiCl plus AlCl3. Just BeH2 and MgH2 has been found to be covalent, and the rest of them, they are ionic. Now when you compare the stability of hydrides, what will happen? Say you have BeH2 and then you have MgH2 and then you have CaH2 and then you have SrH2, like that. This is how you will write, right? Stability of hydrides decrease down the group. Why? Because as the size increases, beryllium is the smallest and the bond is stable, the bond is stronger. Then slowly, when the size of magnesium is greater than that of beryllium, for calcium it is even more bigger than that of magnesium. Strontium is even still more bigger. So as the size of the metal ion increases, what happens? The bond strength decreases. Okay. So you say the stability of hydrides decrease down the group with increase in the size of metal cation. Now all these hydrides, they react with water, liberating hydrogen gas, and thus they act as reducing agents. All these hydrides, they can act as reducing agents. What are reducing agents? In one way you say the capacity to get oxidized is called as reducing character. In another way you can say anything that gives out hydrogen in the medium, it is a reducing agent which helps in the reduction process. Now addition of hydrogen is reduction. So anything that gives hydrogen will act as a reducing agent. Anything that gets oxidized is a reducing agent. So here it is liberating hydrogen and thus it is acting as a reducing agent. Now let us see reaction with acids. They react with acids liberating hydrogen gas. When any metal of second group, it is treated with dilute acid, it is liberating hydrogen gas. Beryllium, this being amphoteric in nature, it dissolves in alkalis too. Not only with HCl, it will even react with alkali. Now you see the reaction of beryllium with NaOH plus water will give you sodium berylate, Na2BeOH 4 times, plus hydrogen gas is formed. Now you will find in the case of aluminium also the same kind of reaction is there when you will get sodium aluminate plus hydrogen gas. Right? Then, just like how we saw in the case of alkali metals in liquid ammonia appear colored. Same way here also, second group elements, they dissolve in liquid ammonia and the solution appears blue. Again, the same reason, due to solvated electrons or ammoniated electrons. Electrons surrounded by ammonia. Because of that, they are all appearing blue in color. Right? Okay.